Hello, welcome to Season 1 of Story Chef, where we dive into different genres and discover what makes them tick. Today we're talking about how to write dark academia. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this series, I've gone and used AI to do this big analysis of bestsellers, and I've identified 200 genres now through hours and hours of Amazon research, actually going through scene by scene and identifying all of the tropes, the plot mechanics, the character archetypes, and much more. So I've gone beyond just asking ChatGPT, like, what are the tropes for dark academia? Because it could hallucinate or get things wrong, or in the case of some genres, the trends could be so new that it might not even know what they are. And when I do it this way through actual AI analysis of actual books, we are getting far more accurate data. So with that in mind, let's dive into dark academia. This is one of those fun genres that gets very dark and emotional and often very spicy. It's a spin-off of romantasy, although I don't think it has to be actually fantasy. Most of them are, but it doesn't necessarily have to be fantasy. You can just have a dark academy, but I could be wrong about that. Let's actually go through and see what this says. So we're going to start with the major tropes. These are the things that you definitely want to have in some capacity in your dark fantasy or dark academia. And starting with the magic school setting. So I guess having it be a magic school is a pretty big part of it. So this is like think of dark academia as like an adult, very adult Harry Potter type thing. The story takes place in an elite, often Gothic institution like a university or boarding school where students navigate complex hierarchies and often learn to control supernatural abilities within a restrictive environment. You got morally gray characters, of course. Your cast should consist of complex individuals whose brilliance or charm masks a capacity for cruelty, proving that intelligence does not equal morality. There's an outsider protagonist, so the main POV character usually begins as an outsider, perhaps from a lower financial class or possessing a unique trait, giving the reader a window into the corrupt, privileged world of the school. There's usually some toxic friendships or found family. The protagonist forms these intense codependent bonds with a tight-knit group of peers, creating a dynamic that oscillates between deep emotional support and mutual destruction. So you can tell we're getting really dark. There's a reason this is called dark academia. Then we got forbidden or transgressive relationships. This is romantic or sexual connection cross-established lines, such as student-teacher dynamics of relationships between enemies, often complicated by power imbalances. Then you have secret societies or exclusive social circles. There's almost always an inner circle of hidden group operating with its own rules and rituals, offering belonging at the cost of ethical compromise. There's an institutional corruption. The school itself is rarely a safe haven. It is often morally compromised, prioritizing its reputation and power over the safety of students. Honestly, I'm not sure why anybody would want to be here. But then we have the pursuit of forbidden and dangerous knowledge. Characters are driven by an obsessive quest for arcane or esoteric topics. I guess this is why they decide to be there. Pushing boundaries that lead to psychological harm or catastrophe. Catastrophic conclusions or tragedy. Unlike genres that guarantee a happy ending, these narratives often spiral toward inevitable doom, murder, or the downfall of the protagonist due to their own fatal flaws. So these can end in tragedy, which is one of the big ways in which it differs from romantasy, which typically goes with the whole romance trope of happily ever after. But then we have unreliable narration and narrative ambiguity. The story is frequently told by a narrator whose perspective is warped by trauma, bias, or lies, leaving the truth of the events murky. Right, so those are the major tropes that you'll see in probably most of the dark academia books that you read. Then we have a couple of common tropes. So these aren't necessarily like absolutely necessary, but you will often find them. So a lot of these are related to different types of romance that you might find in a dark academia, starting with enemies to lovers. An antagonist relationship transitions into romance, fueled by high-stress environment and intellectual rivals common in academic settings. We have hidden heir or the chosen one. A seemingly normal student is revealed to have a powerful lineage or destiny, placing them at the center of the conflict against their will. You might have a bully romance. So a darker romantic dynamic where one partner engages in psychological or physical torment, often recontextualized within the twisted social hierarchy of the school. There's also trauma bonding. So characters forge alliances not through shared interests, but through shared suffering or vulnerability, creating a bond that is hard to break. This is a trope that I absolutely hate, but I've seen whole books devoted to this, which is the stalker / mysterious protector. A character watches the protagonist from the shadows, blurring the lines between a guardian ensuring safety and an obsession that threatens it. You might find body horror. Joy. Unattainable love. A romantic subplot where a relationship is continuously blocked by social standing, secrets, or the tragic nature of the plot itself. And you have some like general plot rules here, like Chekhov's gun, foreshadowing, red herrings. You have the mad scientist, a professor or student researcher who's pursuing scientific advancement without ethical limits, often experimenting on themselves or others. And there's usually some kind of class or wealth conflict. The tension between the scholarship student and the wealthy elite drives much of the interpersonal conflict and social commentary. So a really dark genre. Definitely not my personal cup of tea, but this one has been very popular on Amazon recently, so I had to cover it. But yeah, lots of stuff happening that's just like, dark, trauma, tragic, all of that stuff. So we do have more in-depth sections on each of these tropes if you wanted to dive a little deeper. And these are, by the way, I have a series of books called The Story Hacks, and Dark Academia is one of them that you can go and buy, or you get them at no extra cost when you join the Story Hacker membership. And just recently we launched the Story Hacker OS, which is our own tool that lets you write with AI. And these templates are included in that tool, so you could easily craft your own Dark Academia book using that tool. So if that is interesting to you, go ahead and check that out down below. But in the meantime, let's jump to my favorite part of this process, which is the plot template. Now, there are a lot of chapters in an average Dark Academia. My analysis put the average at 51 chapters. And so we're not going to go in too much depth on each of these, but hopefully from the title and just a brief overview here, you'll get a sense for what happens in each chapter. So starting off with the arrival at the institution, pretty self-explanatory. Then they go through the first day and discover they have to navigate the different social hierarchy and stuff like that. Then we get the encounter with the exclusive circle. So they encounter like whatever characters are in this exclusive circle, whatever that is. There's a chapter of just like general academic life and discovering forbidden knowledge. The protagonist settles into the rhythm of academic life, attending specialized classes that reveal the institution's specific focus, whether that's occult studies, classical literature, advanced sciences, or magical systems, etc. And then there's some kind of first test or trial. The protagonist faces their first significant challenge or test within the institution. So this could be an academic examination, a physical trial, or a social ordeal designed to prove their worthiness. Then we have chapter 6, forced proximity and developing attraction. So the protagonist is forced into close proximity with a member of the exclusive group or the primary love interest through assigned partnerships, tutoring arrangements, or institutional requirements. So we're forcing them into proximity with one another to generate sparks, right? Then we have a late night gathering. You see this in a lot of academic stuff, like where they have a late night gathering of an exclusive group in a liminal space. There's some kind of bullying, escalation, and humiliation. So things don't necessarily go well for the protagonist at first, right? Then we learn the mentor's true nature in chapter 9. The protagonist has a one-on-one encounter with their mentor or trusted professor seeking guidance or comfort after the previous humiliation. The mentor reveals contradictory qualities, both offering genuine insight and manipulation, care and cruelty. During a private tutoring session or conversation, the mentor makes inappropriate advances, demonstrating their own moral compromises or revealing knowledge of institutional corruption they choose not to address. So by inappropriate advances, that doesn't necessarily mean sexual advances, although it can and often does, but could also just reveal the corruption, right? So from here, we start the discovery of institutional secrets. We really start to dig deeper into this, into what's going on in this academy. And we have the first act of complicity. Protagonist is pressured or seduced into participating in something morally questionable. So this is where they start to get their feet a little muddied. Covering up an incident, participating in a ritual, keeping a dangerous secret, or enabling someone else's transgression. And this is going to cause some problems for them later on. Then there's deepening intimacy and isolation. So So they spend significant time with a member of the exclusive group or the primary love interest. There's the midpoint discovery. So this is an important one. The protagonist uncovers a major secret that fundamentally changes their understanding of everything that has happened so far. This might involve discovering the truth about their own parentage or heritage, learning the identity of a hidden antagonist, realizing the exclusive group's true potential. And there's some kind of confrontation and retaliation. There's an anonymous ally or warning that shows up. And then there's the ritual or occult ceremony where the protagonist either witnesses or participates in a ritual or ceremony that reveals the supernatural, occult, or deeply transgressive nature of the exclusive group's activities. And there's building alliance with the outcasts. The physical or sexual escalation. So here we increase that escalation between the protagonist and the love interest. There might be discovery of a crime or major transgression and the immediate aftermath and shock of that discovery. Then there's escalating paranoia and guilt, and an investigation begins. External authorities or institution investigators begin looking into the crime or transgression, creating external pressure on the protagonist and the group, etc. There's betrayal within the group. The mentor, there's some kind of big revelation or betrayal from the mentor. There's a confrontation with the anonymous ally, an impossible choice, and so on. And I think we're not going to get too far through all of this because I don't want to bore people watching this video, but you can go through all of these steps and find exactly what should happen step by step in a Dark Academia story. Okay. Now at the end of this, I do have some information about like what happens in sequels. So if you have a sequel to the book, obviously some things are going to be changed. You don't have to reintroduce a lot of the characters, stuff like that. So what changes, what stays the same in order to keep it consistent with the genre and not alienate readers. But then let's talk a little bit about Dark Academia characters. Okay, so characters, we have different archetypes here, starting with, of course, the reluctant outsider, who is our typical protagonist. Typically beginning in the state of poverty, imprisonment, or grieving isolation, this character is forcibly thrust into the elite dangerous world of the academy. Initially driven by a desperate desire to escape or simply survive the brutal hazing and social hierarchies, she undergoes a hardening process where trauma strips away her naivete. So she goes on quite the journey there. Then we have the tormented Byronic hero, who's typically the love interest. Presented initially as an antagonist, bully, or cold authority figure, this character enforces the Academy's cruel hierarchy to protect his own secrets or family legacy. He begins as emotionally detached or husked out, viewing the protagonist as a nuisance or a target, but develops an intense, obsessive fascination with her resilience. Okay. Then, of course, we got the corrupt mentor, which we've kind of covered already. This person starts out as a nice person, but we soon learn is either corrupt or they have like inappropriate intentions for the protagonist, etc. We have the loyal companion, who is an ally. So it starts out as a misfit, roommate, or comic relief. This character provides the only source of warmth and normalcy for the protagonist. You got to have something in there. You got to throw them a bone, right? They frequently undergo a tragic loss of innocence, suffering severe physical harm, kidnapping, or death, real or faked. That serves as the catalyst for the protagonist's final transformation into a warrior. They evolve from a passive bystander into a fierce and capable revolutionary who anchors the protagonist's humanity. So very important character to have in a Dark Academia here. We have the innocent catalyst, or the ward. This character is the reason the protagonist endures the initial torture of the story. They might be a younger sibling, a powerless friend, or a dependent who requires protection. Their arc is often one of corruption or tragedy. They are either kidnapped or forced to force the protagonist's hand, or they are traumatized by the setting until they snap and manifest a dark power of their own. They transition from a burden to be protected into a tragic figure who has been irrevocably damaged by the protagonist's choices. So this is a very tragic character right here. Those are the main characters that you will find. Obviously, you can have a whole cast of characters, but these are like the main archetypes that you want in a story like this. Next, we have the world building. So this is a fantasy, so world building is important. But world building is not just talking about like magic and stuff like that, but we're also talking about locations and settings. So the number one most important thing here is the sentient isolated campus. Because this is called Dark Academia after all. So you must construct a setting that functions as a character in its own right, often acting as a prison or a crucible for your protagonists. Whether it is a fortress on a remote island, a castle in the highlands, or a school built upon the ancient ruins, the location should be physically cut off from the outside world by treacherous geography or magical barriers. Okay, so basically it's a magic school. Right. And we've got temporal ambiguity and aesthetics, as well as a hostile geography. So this is not a good place to be. There's wailing woods filled with monsters, or treacherous cliffs, or toxic waterways, or fog-drenched moors that hide predators. Basically, you can't get out of this school because to do so would be death. Now, this does mention while your school may have modern conveniences like smartphones or social media, because this can be a more urban setting. It doesn't have to be an older romantasy type setting. The aesthetic of the school should feel trapped in a vague nostalgic past. So generally, we kind of want to go for an older vibe, even if this is a modern story. All right. Next is the house or faction system. So you should organize the main body into distinct subgroups based on arbitrary but rigid criteria, such as magical affinity, species, personality traits, or bloodline. So we got that house and social. So we have rigid social stratification here. That's pretty self-explanatory. And the curriculum of danger, right? So this means your academic courses should not be safe learning environments, but rather high-stakes trials where failure results in physical injury or death. Whether the subject is elemental combat, toxicology, runic inscriptions, or history, the pedagogy relies on survival of the fittest logic, and professors should be depicted as negligent or actively sadistic, right? As far as magic and technology systems, we got the cost of power in this genre. The magic or advanced science is rarely free. It requires a visceral, often bodily sacrifice. We talked about the trope of body horror. Magic should definitely be something that has a huge cost. Definitely fits with the sort of dark aspects of the genre. There's suppression and awakening. So a common element in this world building is the suppression of true potential, often through mechanical or magical restraints. Something to keep in mind. There might be species-specific abilities. If your world includes paranormal creatures, you must clearly define the biological or magical differences between species like vampires, shifters, fays, or sirens. You'll see vampires and other similar like creatures, shifters, and things like that often in Dark Academia. Then we have secret societies and hidden power. So there'll be some kind of shadow organization, often in the school administration. There'll be corrupt authority and staff. We kind of covered that already. There'll be some kind of rituals and trials associated with these organizations. And under history and lore, we got the dark legacy. So this relates to the institution, which must have a blood-soaked history that informs the present-day conflict, and probably the corruption as well. This lore often involves a founding tragedy, a massacre, or suppressed war between magical factions that led to the current oppressive regime. Okay. And then, of course, we have forbidden knowledge and archives, so restricted spaces that the Academy might have. So beyond that, in this book, I also have information on the themes. Got some notes on writing prose in this book, what that looks like. I even have suggestions like templates on how to create titles based on the bestsellers in the genre, as well as book descriptions based on what those bestsellers had for their book descriptions. If we want to get something that's similar, I've got a template for that here as well. Once again, you can buy this book on Amazon, but you can also get it at no extra charge through Story Hacker, the membership down below. And we also have our brand new Story Hacker OS tool that you can use to actually write this, because these templates are included in that tool as context that you can access to actually write these books via automations and in other ways. So really great stuff here about Dark Academia. If this is something you are interested in, be sure to check this out, and I will see you in the next video.